What's going on, guys? This is James from Shimwrecker Enterprises back here today with another video for you. This one's going to be looking at the Storm Axiom. This ball released this past March, right around the time of the whole coronavirus craziness shutdown. So it's obviously I'm a little bit behind on some of these videos, but catching up as best as I can, and so here we are. So let's get into it. The Storm Axiom has it's both a familiar and an unfamiliar formula at the same time. It's familiar in the sense that it's in the master line, so you're going to expect lower RG cores, little smoother ball roll, a little more rolly, more control oriented. And you definitely get that here, but it's a little unfamiliar as well. It's a brand new cover from Storm. It's called Nano Extreme Solid. Basically what they did is they took NRG Solid, which is a really well-known and well-liked cover stock. Balls like the Virtual Gravity Nano, the IQ Tour Nano, the High Road Nano, all have this cover, as well as Roto Grip uses a variant of this in a lot of their HP3 and HP4 solid balls. So this cover stock idea has been used a lot. Storm basically took it and turned it up to 11 with this one, so it creates even more traction in oil and even a little bit smoother down lane, but somehow still retains some punch. The core is a new core, I believe it's called Orbital. Very similar feel to the cores in like the Phaze II and the Idol, which was another couple of low RG, high differential symmetrical cores. So flares quite a bit. It's got a good bit of down lane motion, but it also is still very, very smooth and controllable. It's another of those predictable, like kind of on the stronger side of benchmark, what I like to call benchmark plus type reactions. So looking at the video here, I've been rolling some shots. This is at Sandhills Bowling Center down in Aberdeen, North Carolina. Many thanks to them for having me out to shoot this video. You can see here that it's really, really smooth and controllable. I've got versatility. I was just at 4th arrow. I just went to 2nd arrow and is still going through the pins pretty well. It is kind of interesting because for a ball that's this smooth, you can see on a couple of these hits, I think I 210'd once. I've gotten a couple of wrap 10 pins. Ball's almost kind of getting behind it a little bit, which is kind of interesting. Like it's almost not rolling soon enough to get through the pins properly. I'm still able to get the job done, and these are twister pins, so that's going to make it look a little better. But even that shot right there, it never really got into the roll phase properly. So this is something that's kind of been piquing my interest ever since I threw it. And the obvious comparison here is to the Phaze II, because they're both sanded, low RG, high differential symmetrical balls. So speaking of that, let's jump over here and start taking a look at some shots of my Phaze II. This is the same layout, same surface, same lane. And so you can see right there, off of these first couple shots, the Phaze II is almost kind of getting into the roll phase a little sooner than the Axiom is. So this is kind of a little interesting because the Axiom has a stronger cover, so you'd think that would pick up and get into the roll phase a little more. But my kind of what I see, and I have to trust my eyes here, is the Phaze II doesn't see the front part of the lane quite as much as the Axiom. I think I just lost my balance on that one. Yep, test slides, there you go. The Phaze II is a little more responsive in the mid lane and kind of tumbles a little harder through the pins, whereas the Axiom gets down lane and arcs through the pins a little bit more. So it's a subtle difference there. Personally, I really like to see the ball kind of get forward through the pins, and I feel like I'm able to do that a little bit easier with the Phaze II. But I've also been working on getting the ball more forward off of my hand in general, so that I can use some of these smoother, arcier type reactions, get the pocket control, but also get it rolling so I can get better pin carry. So kind of looking back here over a few shots of the Axiom, you can see, just to kind of contrast again, that difference between the Phaze II and the Axiom. The other ball that we're going to be looking at here is the IQ Tour Solid. It's the other sanded low RG symmetrical ball in the master line. Difference is this has a weaker cover with R2S Solid and a lower differential core by about 20 points or so. It's 0.029 differential here versus around 0.050 or so for both the Phaze II and the Axiom. What you can see here is the IQ Solid looked absolutely incredible from straighter angles. But then off of that 210 and this shot right here, which just goes sideways in 3/610s, you can see it just kind of looks like as I get left, the IQ Tour Solid that one I had to throw really good to strike. The IQ Solid is just kind of, it's not quite enough ball to get the job done from that far left, whereas the Phaze II and the Axiom both were able to do that. So this is a pretty good illustration of why I actually carry something like a Phaze II or an Axiom plus an IQ2 or Solid with me. Is the gap in zones and what they're good at and what zones they're good in relative to each other really provides a little more depth to my bag on the control side, which is something that's very important. Is if you can't control your ball reaction, then you're kind of dead in the water. So anyways, that's a quick look at the Axiom for you. It's been a really fun ball to throw for me. My first set out of the box with this ball in competition was actually an 831 at Village Lanes over in Durham. And then I also used it in the North versus South heavyweight match at UBA Mega Bowl back in March. Ended up pulling this ball out game 6 and 7 to just totally, play up the boards a little bit more in a pretty tight house and just face smash the pocket, and ended up coming back from down 3-2 to get the win in that match, which was a lot of fun. As always, let me know if you have any questions. This ball is out now. It's one of those can't miss balls. I mean, it seems like Storm hits home run after home run in the master line, and I don't think the Axiom is an exception to that. So let me know if you have any questions, and good luck and good bowling.